I guess that's my cue to talk. Alright, guys. I need to clear up some tabs on my computer. I got so many tabs open, and I just keep on opening more. So, some of this, I'm just going to go over real quick. Some of it, if you guys keep up with the news, some of it you probably already heard, you already know. I'm just going to go over real quick for the people out there that, really don't stay tuned in this too much. First we'll start with the, level of dioxins is high in the soil. Would never have guessed that. The levels found in two soil samples are up to 14 times higher than dioxin soil elements in some states, and numbers point to a wider contamination. Linda Burbum, former head of the U.S. National Toxicology Program and EPA scientist. These all stem from the explosion, call it what it is, the explosion of the tankers that they did. Let's see here. The East Palestine soil showed levels of some, fancy science stuff, toxicity equivalents to 700 parts per trillion, which is really high. But the funny thing is the EPA won't initiate a cleanup until it gets to 1,000 parts per trillion. So, how convenient. But in other states, like it's only 90 in Michigan, 90 parts per trillion, and 50 in California. But, of course, Ohio's 1,000. So based on this, the concentrations are actually concerning. An organic chemist in Johns Hopkins University, scientific advisor for Simple Lab, the Fed cleanup standards of 1,000 parts per trillion apply to Ohio. This is kind of interesting. EPA scientists in 2010 put the cancer risk threshold for dioxins in resin soil at 3.7 parts per trillion. 3.7, and they're measuring 700. The agency recommended lowering the trigger cleanup to 72. Mr. Obama just thought, we didn't need to do that, so it just kind of, got dropped. Instead of making adjustments for these high risk of these chemicals, they dropped it. They just walked away from it, and that's the crazy part of the story. Lester said, now the EPA can legally claim the levels in East Palestine are safe, even if the agency's science has just suggested it is not. Experts also cautioned that levels may be found safe in Indiana. Indiana's purpose storing toxic waste in the landfill and unsafe in the context of public exposure to the chemicals around the crash site. It is also unclear where and at what depth the samples were collected. All which has implications for potential health risks in East Palestine. The chemicals would be especially present, especially, if I can get this out right, especially present a risk in dust, gardens, and for children playing outside, he added. This is kind of an interesting quote, too. If the soil in Indiana tested had been shipped to the state in a truck or train car, then it was mixed with other soil and probably diluted, which makes the soil appear safer than it is. Would you think they would ever dilute the soil and make it appear safer than what it is? So, I mean, this all goes back to, Times Beach in Missouri. I think I have a tab open later on that, so I will just skip that. But I found it kind of interesting. 700 parts per trillion is what they're measuring. But it's safe. I found this nifty little risk assessment. This was done back during Vietnam. The people in Vietnam when they used Agent Orange. So I just marked some interesting things in here real quick. This is just be quick, but Once released in the atmosphere, dioxins often binds with other particles such as incinerator ash. In this case, it is shielded from photodegradation and is able to stay suspended for a long period of time before settling. In regard to dioxins' persistence in soil, within the top 0.1 centimeters of surface soil, it has a half-life of 9 to 15 years. And in subsurface soil, which is below the 0.1 centimeters, the half-life is 25 to 100 years. In water, dioxin accumulates on the bottom, mud, and sediments of rivers, lakes, and oceans. In addition, since dioxin is hydrophobic and lipophilic in water, it is taken up readily by aquatic organism and is concentrated as it moves up the food chain to fish and eventually to humans. For example, dioxin's concentration in fish is 100,000 times higher than it was in the surrounding environment. Dioxin in soil particles or dust attaches to grass, vegetables, and crops. Animals that feed on the contaminated grass, such as cows, buffalo, goats, and other free-range animals, such as ducks, chickens, wild goose, are raised in areas containing contaminated soil, can concentrate dioxin in their meat, which is kind of interesting because, you know, all the farm land we have around here, but it's safe. You gotta listen to the EPA, it's safe. Once they're absorbed into the body, they are readily distributed through the bloodstream to all organs. Because dioxin dissolves poorly in water, it does not dissolve well in blood and stays there for only a short time and tends to accumulate in fatty tissues and in the liver. We've heard a lot of liver talk lately. I find this kind of interesting too, because this just shows. I mean, this is based on Agent Orange over in Vietnam. Was, you know, their levels were extremely high, but I like this because this just shows how long it stays in a human body and how it can be passed from like, you know, father, mother to child. All members have elevated TCDD levels. Let's see here, 271 parts per trillion in a mother, 164 parts per trillion in a father, and 87 parts per trillion in a child born in 1980. Now, they stopped spraying Agent Orange in early 1971, so that was 9 years later, and you know, it was still found in a child. So I just found it kind of interesting because we hear about it's not good for kids or pregnant people to be around this stuff. This is my boy Eric. He has such a wealth of knowledge. I love reading this stuff because he kind of breaks it down to you know, for dumb people, and that's what I need because I'm not the smartest when it comes to this stuff. So I just highlighted a few things in here that I want to cover with dioxins. Most coverage of the train wreck in East Palestine hires missing one word: dioxins. There are probably 5 tanker cars full of vinyl chloride, a precursor to polyvinyl chloride, that is vinyl PVC. There were 4 cars filled with PVC pellets. Burning vinyl is tied for the most serious dioxin in an environment, whether it's from trash incinerators, house fires, or chemical spills. The other in fluid from paper mills, which use chlorine bleach. While vinyl chloride is a precursor to chemicals in making PVC, anytime chlorinated compounds burn, there will be dioxins created. A dioxin also a byproduct of manufacturing process involving chlorine from disinfectants to the bleaching of paper. There were plenty of dioxins in those tanker cars before they caught fire. Additionally, the US EPA informed of the incident just 2 hours after it happened on the night of February 3rd. This placed them in the know or should have known situation unless they were blatantly lied to by Norfolk Southern. Several sources are saying that it was the railroad's intent to open the tracks as soon as possible, which would have been delayed by the proper recovery operation. I and one of many that believe that. This goes into the Times Beach that was basically purchased by the federal government. It was leveled, zip code removed, from a far less dioxin contamination. They turned it into a state park. So if you want to go have a picnic, I guess you could just stay in town and have a picnic. You'd probably be in the same, dioxin thing. Dioxins were extremely toxic component in Vietnam era. Agent Orange, they were in the Love Canal, Niagara Falls. They were toxins involved in evacuation and dissolution of Times Beach, Missouri. They are also the cause of toxic shock syndrome from bleached paper tampons. Dioxins are acute toxins on one level, but not generally to adults. There will be a lot of dead fish and animals in the path of the higher plume. We've seen that. Some people will get very sick immediately. For most adults, it's more of a long-term toxin. Kids are extremely sensitive due to the low body weight and must be removed from the region if possible. So too must be pregnant women. But then there's another level of the problem. Dioxins are hormonally toxic, and number two, they are extremely persistent and they build up in the food chain generally in lipids. They are bioactive. All this BS projected into viruses is absolutely true for dioxins. Though the contagion factor is different, running through families, for instance, passing through a mother's milk, affecting whole communities through a toxic release, etc. So, it's kind of interesting. I find this kind of interesting too, okay? One aspirin, okay, is, according to the EPA, if you take one of them aspirins and you divide that into 32 million, pieces, that is the recommended lifetime safe dose for a human. Which, it's kind of interesting. You think of an aspirin and, divide that into 32 million pieces. Wow. I think that's all I wanted to cover here, I think. Yeah, it must be it. Oh, here's the clarification. Dioxin exposure is not like arsenic for adults. Most who react will start to feel sick. It is distinctly flu-like, as I've had this. Some will get rashes, which is about the slow death of their liver. The rash is an indication of systematic poisoning. But due to our greater body weight, adults can handle a little more for a while. What it does to adults is create a kind of time bomb: miscarriages, infertility, hormone disruption, cancers, 3 generations of genetic damage. All this I've either firsthand or from companies' own documents. Children get extremely ill and die. Animals, pets, livestock can be killed immediately, along with wildlife. The birds are all gone from the whole area. So the smaller is one body, the more it acts like an acute poison rather than a long-term disruptor of every system. And we all already bear a body burden of the stuff measured in parts per trillion in blood tissue. Dioxin is a trace contaminant of other toxins like Agent Orange and PCBs. It rides along with them and is also created in a burn situation. What we are witnessing is the worst case scenario. Thousands of tons, 9 railroad cars of chlorinated chemicals went up and burned in the proximity of other hydrocarbons, vegetable, wheat, motor oil, etc. And so this turns the ordinary cargo into hazmat when they are burned together. This is an extinction level kind of event. There are 125,000 farms in PA and Ohio. It will concentrate on the food and shipped all over the world. The only potential worst dioxin release in a single incident was the World Trade Center, and I don't think it was that bad. And much of the smoke blew out to sea, adding the background level to the oceans. So that was kind of interesting too. We all heard about the World Trade Center when it collapsed, and it was all safe and stuff, and then all of a sudden people started getting sick from it. let's see here. The disaster in East Palestine was politically motivated. Who would ever guess that? In today's society, seems to be everything. It seems to be politically motivated. This basically is. I'm just going to give a quick rundown. This is basically, I guess, from Pete Buttigieg, weirdo. He allocates. He based on your who your state voted for. Because of Ohio voted 70% margin for Trump, then I guess he decided that the state don't matter anymore. There was a interesting thing. Benny Johnson set up a fake refreshment station at the DOT, offering bottles of water that were allegedly from East Palestine, Ohio. And they had this 25-year DOT veteran who walked up and came clean about what's going on to it in the DOT. And it was kind of interesting. So politically motivated. It does not surprise me one bit. Where is the governor and all them people? I talked about this in my last video. I seen there was more put out about this, but the CDC pulling their people out because their people were getting sick, so they pulled them out. But it's still safe for you to be here. I get new articles on that. I'll cover that. I thought it was kind of interesting too. This was back in September of 2020. Local manager threatens discipline if Carmen don't reduce their inspection times. I found this was pretty interesting. Maybe if it plays.
The bosses are saying that if we cannot get, and here's your part, Steve, I'll just go ahead and get it out of the way for you. If we cannot get to where our average for the whole terminal, is what you see that 2.7 on there for the outbound, all right, and the 2.2 for the inbound. If we can't get that down, or at least consistently trending down, showing improvement to under 2.0, then the bosses are forcing us to take out discipline. It's going to start with counseling letter, and then it'll progress from there.
So I found it pretty interesting. That was back in 2020, and they wanted the rail car inspection times down to 2 minutes, and we've heard the last couple hearings they have, it's down to a minute, if even that. So pretty interesting. They're still insistent on having this damn Easter egg hunt as of today. This is Saturday the 1st. I don't know why they insist on having it. I don't look for many people to show up, but I think as much as you want your town to get back to normal, having events like this, we'll get into the park thing too. Having events like this is not safe. Supposedly the area is going to be disinfected. Okay. I mean, this is just plain old stupidity. I mean, it's like, they must think, like, people that read this are really, really freaking stupid. I almost swore there, but, well, maybe there are some people who are, but those of us who study this and well know about this, not really study it, but kind of knows how this stuff goes now. I mean, it's almost been 3 months now, and a lot of us have some pretty good knowledge in this now. I mean, nothing like them experts, but that's why we have the experts for, because they're better than all of us. But I like this. The Easter egg hunt this year will be in a designated, cleaned, and sanitized area. Oh, areas including the community center, basketball, and tennis courts. The cleaning of Rainbow Dreamland is also anticipated to be completed by this time. So they pulled all the mulch of the playground, supposedly, sanitized, disinfected, whatever. They did, probably that half, thing where they just spray their Lysol around like they tried to do in people's houses and said it was safe. But that was all out of precautions. That they, to take all that stuff out of there was just a precaution. There probably was nothing wrong with it, but they did it for precaution. So for them to say that they're gonna clean and sanitize areas for kids to run around, the people driving in the park, do you not realize? I'm sure you'll see if you drove into the park. They're aerating the water right there in the park entrance. Where do you think all that stuff's blowing to? We think all that gas and whatever they're trying to get out of the water, it's just going right back in the air again. So whatever, more power to you. If this is what you want to do, this is what you do it. But I think it's stupid. There is a lot of really highly educated folks that said it's stupid, but I guess do what you want. I like this too, man. Every time you think that you've seen just about everything, you get Alan Shaw that comes back in and keeps on throwing money, which was kind of funny because we were having this discussion just about an hour ago on Facebook, and I stated that Alan Shaw is just throwing money at everybody, at everything, and just hoping this finally gets pushed under the rug, and so they don't have to deal with it anymore, So let's see here, where we get into it. They gave Shaw a tour of the park, starting at the swimming pool. Okay. Now, Norfolk Southern has already committed paying for training and $500 bonus for lifeguards. Okay, throwing money out. The company has also hired an architect to develop an overall plan for the park. Once village officials approve it, the improvements will be significant. My thing is, I don't give a crap. Oh, I'm gonna swear there. I don't care what you do to that park. If people don't want to come to that park, what's the use of making it look nice? You have people that don't even want to come into town to get stuff. But yet, you got Shaw out here, we're going to make your park look nice. Who cares that, the ground's polluted as crap, and, as you're running through that grass, you're just stirring up all that stuff. But, never mind, we're going to sanitize it. He's just throwing money out. And the sad thing is, as much as I love Trent and, respect him and stuff, Trent, you're playing right into what they want you to play into, what Shaw wants you to play into. I said the same thing when he gave the fire department $3 million. And I'm going to say the same thing when he does this park. This money isn't free. Okay? Now, as you walk through or go through town every single day, or see your resident village residents or whoever, even in surrounding communities, we're going to do the whole group area because this is more than just East Palestine. This extended farther. Every time you walk through that village, I want you to look at every one of them people, and you know what you should do? You should thank them for your brand new fire truck, your brand new fire gear, your brand new part shit. Crap, dang, I wanted to keep this clean. Because it's not free. They're paying for it with their health. I just don't get, what do you not understand about that? And I'm going to get a lot of, feedback and hate for this, but, I speak how it is. You're taking his money, okay? And, it's obvious he's trying to pay off communities. He's been throwing this money everywhere. Every time he goes to a hearing, a committee hearing, he, brags, oh, we spent $27 million so far, to do this, he brags about how much money they've spent, have not really helped anybody. You got to fight to get reimbursements from the, their community center, their help thing. I've heard many horror stories about that. You throw all this money around, but you have not did one thing to help the residents of this town and surrounding communities. Like I said, because this is way bigger than just East Palestine, because this went everywhere. And you're playing into it, Trent. You're accepting the money. I hate to say it, to call it as it is. But, what this looks like to me is you're kissing butt, as a clean term, with Norfolk, just to get your community looking nice, which I agree, it should look nice, but, all this came at a cost. I mean, this isn't just like a grant that came in and you're using the money for this. You can make it look as beautiful as you want. If people don't stay here, you get people moving out. If people don't want to come here, what good is it? The money they're spending for all this park crap and, this fire department crap, which I'm going to call it as it is, because tell me why you can't decontaminate fire clothes. Why can't you decontaminate a fire engine? I see them damn things driving all over town. Have they been decontaminated? Or you driving them through town, not decontaminated? I mean, $3 million. You know what that could have done to the folks of this town? I mean, they could have easily, whoever wanted to get out, give them, we'll say, I don't know, let's just give a small estimate, $200,000. Okay, you take their house. Okay, and this just goes on whatever their house goes for. I'm just giving a rough estimate. You take their house. You're in charge of selling that house. The money that is given to them includes their moving fees. What it's going to cost them to move and to find another house. You know how much of that money could have went and helped these people in this town? But it's being wasted. It's being wasted, a park. Just, I don't know. I shouldn't even get on that subject, but it just makes me mad because, they're buying you. They're buying this town. And it's being let happen. With they're sending, what I heard, they're sending donuts every Friday. This is the company that was in charge of the train that they refused to stop because of a wheel bearing, well, they refused to do an inspection for the wheel bearing to find out it was bad, and they refused to stop when they seen it was trending hot, and they wanted to push the train to get to Conway. This is the company that put this accident in your town that caused all this crap. No amount of money is going to make up for that. None. But you're just taking it willy-nilly. As soon as he comes into town, here's $1 million here, use it for this. You know, here's another $300,000 here, use it for this. Why don't you use it towards helping the community? You know? It's ridiculous. Anyways, please leave your hate comments down below, because I know there's going to be a lot of them. So, best thing would be revenue generating facilities, the cabins, the poles. The pole needs help. If nobody wants to come to the freaking town, I don't care what you put in this town. If nobody wants to come to pay to use it, then what good is it? Alright, we're going to the next thing. I think I ranted enough about that. 33 minutes. I will go through. Maybe we'll make this the last one, because I don't want to make this too long. We've heard this too. You know, the company that they hired to do your indoor testing, air testing, was not DPA. It wasn't. It's not really even a well-known a company with a good reputation. Let's say. They hired CETH. Okay. By Norfolk Southern. It stands for the Center for Toxicology and Environmental Health. So that's who was coming in to your things. They said it was the air test was it's recently come out too that the EPA admitted that they weren't using the right meters. The meters were only going down parts per million instead of a lower level. So it came out of their mouth that they probably did not record every chemical that was in the house. So this article's a little older, but the machines were not designed to detect the full range of dangerous chemicals that derailment may have unleashed, and they did not sample the air long enough to accurately capture the levels of chemicals they were testing for. It's almost like if you want to find nothing, you run in and run out, Haynes said, which is true. I've heard many stories of, they go in their house, they spend they walk around, they put this machine, this is from what I heard, fuckers weren't coming, crappers weren't coming into my house because, I don't trust anything they do, and they wave this little machine around, and then they write down, if you're lucky, your results on a piece of paper, and they tell you you're okay. I like when they first started doing this, they had the residents sign a waiver form, which I don't know if it says it in here or not. It doesn't. Anyways, they had to sign a waiver form that basically said that you're not, if you sign this and have this done, you cannot hold the railroad, you can't get any more damages from the railroad, which all of a sudden, once that got out to the media, it all of a sudden was a mistake. And Shaw said that, he didn't, them were the wrong papers and they changed it right away. No, buddy, you got busted. Tell the truth. Anyways, let's see, that company was founded by 4 scientists who've done all consulting work for tobacco companies or lawyers defending them. The CETH quickly became a go-to contractor for corporations responsible for industrial disasters. It's bread and butter in train crashes and derailments. The company has been accused of repeatedly of downplaying the health risks. I agree. Let's see here. Despite the track record, the company has been put in charge of allaying residents' concerns about health risk and publicly presented a rosy assessment. It was the CETH, not the EPA, that designed the testing protocol for the indoor air test. It was the CTEH, not the government, that runs the hotline residents are directed to call with concerns about odors, fumes, and health problems. Local and federal officials, including the EPA, funneled the scared and sick to company representatives. Why are you letting the company that is responsible for this whole mess? Why you letting them basically run the show, and they get to get their own, calling their own team? Whose side do you think they're on? I don't think they're on our side. So I just found that interesting. I said this company does not have a very good reputation. Just for that simple fact of they, I think they fudge with the numbers, or they don't spend enough time, or they just don't do it right. So, all right, guys. Yeah, I'm reading that. We're at 40 minutes. Good. That helps me get rid of some of my tabs. I had so many open, and I just kept on adding more and more and more to them. This was interesting too. This was posted on the 29th. This was especially in New Waterford. This was in their creek. That's a video. I did go down. It would have been the morning of the 30th. It was the day after I think this was posted. I went down that morning, and I just went by the video for the general area. I didn't find this, but I could not be I may not have been looking in the right area. But if this is in their creek that is way upstream from all this spillage and stuff, it kind of throws their the whole theory of just because somebody's upstream or upwind from whatever happened, so we don't have to worry about them because the wind didn't blow that way or the water's not running that way. This kind of throws their whole thing out. I really wanted to find this because I really wanted to get water samples of this, just to have to get it tested to see what it was. But like I said, I did not find it. We've had storms and rains, so if it was there, it's probably washed away. But if it's soaked in the ground enough, like it is around here, you can still find it. Look at Sulphur Run. It's so easy to find this in Sulphur Run, even though they've been supposedly cleaning it for so long. I can so easily find this stuff, even Leslie Run too. So I reached out to the person who posted this. I don't know if they're the ones that found it. Like I said, I really wanted to know where this was at, because I really wanted to get samples of it, because this kind of throws their whole thing out the window of, upwind, downwind, upstream, downstream. This is, well, we know this is way far reaching than just the 1 mile bubble in East Palestine, as they think it, stayed in that area. So, I didn't find it. I'll wait till, a couple days after the rain. Hopefully this person gets back to me. If whoever watches this or knows who posted this and knows what area this was, what creek. I mean, there's only one creek that runs through New Waterford, but I seen after I came home and couldn't find it, I seen there was a couple side little streams that may run into that creek, which may be what this is from. Maybe why I didn't find it, because I was on the main creek area running through there, and I checked the rocks and stuff around there, and didn't find nothing. But the water's flowing pretty good, so I may be in the wrong area. But I will keep this in mind. I may try a different area. I'll check the topographical maps and see if there's any smaller streams that run into the bigger one, and see if I can find it. So, all right, I'm in that. We're at 40 minutes. That's long enough. I just wanted to get some of my tabs out of the way because I just keep on adding to them and adding to them and adding to them, and I have so many open, and I just keep on opening more every day because more and more keeps on coming out. So I guess until next time, I took a good deal of my tabs away, thank God. But I still got tons more open. So, but we'll end it now. 40 minutes, good enough. I will catch up with you guys later. Tomorrow's what, Sunday? I probably will be out making people happy when I stand on the corner with my sign. I always make people happy when I do that. So if anybody watching this and you're in town and you want to come join me, I'm on Facebook under the America 2.0 Media. Feel free to message me or just show up. You can't miss me. I'm usually the one standing in the corner making people mad. So I'll probably do that tomorrow. I know tomorrow night there is I think it's a Zoom type thing that the researchers are going to start releasing some of their findings, which is going to be very interesting. I think it starts at 6. I think 5 or 6. I'm not sure. I will cover that too because that's going to be very interesting. Other than that, I don't know what the rest of the week holds. I will still go down like I do pretty much every day and film and document all what's going on down at the derailment site and stuff like that. Just for the simple fact, it's my right to. The many times you yell at me guys down there and threaten me and tell me I can't be down there with the camera filming. I'm not on the road. I'm not in your area. So I've explained this plenty of times to you guys, and I think you're starting to get it because I'm pretty well known down there now. All they have to do is just see me walking, and they're like, "Oh crap," he's not going to take our little threats. So I will continue to do that. I do have a lot of footage. Maybe I'll just I hate posting the same footage like day after day after day. I do document all of it and I do keep it. Maybe I'll start just cutting snippets from here and there and just show you the changes down there. There's one interesting thing I wanted to show. No, that one. It's interesting. This was taken on the 30th. The amount of containers in dumpsters that are staged. No, I'm guessing these are all full. It's just ridiculous. I can't get back here because they give me a hard time when I'm on the hillside. I didn't realize they just started moving the stuff back here. But I know there's trucks always going back there, so it's probably always been back there. But, the amount of containers is just freaking ridiculous. I don't know. It's just... And all the stuff is just sitting there. Just like this pile of dirt, they have sitting here. And there's another one. Well, there was another one down here. I don't know if... Yeah, it's still down here. I thought it was. So last time I was still down there. There's no way they got rid of all that dirt in, like 2 days. This pile of dirt they have sitting here, they have it covered up with plastic. And they're basically making a greenhouse in there when the sun shines. You know how hot this dirt is getting in there, and then all these chemicals are basically, I'd say I call it evaporating. It's probably not the right word, but all these chemicals are just, evaporating out of the soil. That's not an airtight seal. I'm sure water gets in there too when it rains, and there's just piles of this stuff sitting down there because nobody wants this crap in their state, which is, very interesting. So, sometimes I kind of think they're purposely doing this for the simple fact is they're basically trying to, let's say, dilute, probably not the right word either, but, make the soil seem a little cleaner than what it was. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how, that works, but, I can only imagine how hot it is when the sun shines under that plastic. So, maybe it's intentional, maybe not. Okay, now I am officially done before I get into another subject, and I will keep talking about it. Stay tuned. Like I said, I have some more things I want to cover. And other than that, thank you guys for tuning in. I'll keep you guys updated as much as possible. If you're not in this area, I try to keep on top of everything the best I can, just to keep people informed, because I know there's so many people out of state that are, still worried about this and, want to help and stuff, which is great. So, alright guys, I will catch you guys next time.